Hello, I'm Perry from Ready and Rind, and I am back in it's not August, September for your mystery cheese box. Obviously 5 outstanding British artisan cheeses matured in these maturing rooms. If you don't know much about me, I'm a world cheese judge. I recently picked up Afternoon of the Year, so I'm UK's first crowned Afternoon of the Year. If you don't know what Afternoon is, that's the art of maturing cheese. So we use selective pressures such as turning, brushing, washing to get the best out of British artisan cheese. And these 5 are my favourites. So this is your video to accompany your tasting. Obviously you'll get your box all chilled. In there will be, paperwork. So you've got tasting notes, you've got how to care for your cheese, and then you get a free pack of biscuits that are with your box. And of course Peter's Yarg is our biscuit of choice because we love them, the crisp. I always say about Peter's Yarg because they let the cheese do the work. I'm going to have some today. Normally I'll go in without them. So they just let the cheese do the work. They're pretty happy to play. They're lovely, but they're pretty happy to play second fiddle to the cheese, which is what it's all about. So I'm going to dive into your 5 cheeses, tell you why I picked them, why they worked with each other. Obviously, always remember to set your cheeses out in order. They do something very special to one another, and some of them are purposely put at different places because they're different profiles and they're going to interact and do different things to one another. If you're unsure what our organisation is, it's that order there. So just make sure that you get that in order. So first, if you've been buying from us for a while, you'll notice our packaging has slightly changed, which I mentioned last week, but I shall mention again. So I'm unwrapping these today to show you the work that goes into these. So you've got a QR code scanner now. So you scan that, and then that goes up into the ether. And will ping you the page of that cheese. I'm doing the unwrapping, the unboxing process. Like what you get, your cheese is like that. I mean, wow. Yeah, so you scan that, it goes to the website. There's a little bit of rind hanging off there. And it will tell you everything, literally all my notes. Not the brief ones I've got on there, not my 5 minutes running of cheese, it would tell you everything. So let's go for our first cheese. I cannot find my knife, that's a nightmare, which is Bigod, made by Johnny and Dulcie Crickmore, the Crickmore family over in Bungay, Suffolk. It hasn't been in these boxes for ages, just purely because they're always so good. We've kind of got really used to maturing these now, and we kind of know a process where they're really predictable. We get about 3 to 4 different styles of kind of firmness that comes in, and we categorize them, turn them once or twice a week, put them in certain parts of the room, different temperature and humidity to kind of get them to this profile where we want them. So we've got a nice bloomy rind that's on there, a little bit of breakdown that's happening on that cheese on the outside. Yes, these are the portions you get for £32, which is pretty phenomenal, really, to be honest. We can see no chalkiness in the middle, and that's kind of what we wanted to go for this month. It's hard to get a whole batch bang on, but they will, some of them will have a little bit of chalkiness, but on the whole, it's still a little bit chilly in here. This should run, and that's what we wanted for our first cheese. So I'm going to use Peter's Yarg biscuits today rather than a knife, because I cannot remember for the life of me where I put it. So, butter, grass, savoury. You're instantly getting that, that saltiness, that kind of, when you smell it, it's going to have that kind of good level in it. It's really, really beautiful cheese. And the stickiness, I know that's going to be so good. Let me have a taste. More milky than I was expecting. Butter, savoury, saltiness, a little bit dialed back than I was anticipating. Great texture. Really kind of gets around your gums there. That's like an indulgent texture. So moreish. Nice, a bit of kind of like perfume-esque, puff kind of at the end. In the cheese world, we describe it slightly as an ammonia take, but just like a nice bit of it in a weird way, which goes together quite well. Beautiful cheese, Bigod. Montgomery cows Such great quality milk, and it's literally singing in that cheese. Really, really great. Next cheese up. So this month, I believe it's National Goat's Cheese Month. So I wanted to hit you guys up with something that we've been working on. It's a little bit of an experiment, and this is a aged goat's cheese. So this is Driftwood from Somerset by White Lake. And they make, let me just get a knife. I will cut this out because I'm going to need to cut it, but maybe not, maybe I'll just come back. So this is Driftwood. And what you notice from this interesting structure that it has, the geo on the outside. So geos are kind of a bacteria, good bacteria on the outside that creates wrinkles and depth. But what we want to do, I'll put a lot of goat's cheeses that are in the box that are fairly easy going, guys, you know. And I know with the Driftwood, which I've done for a few of my customers, that I can age them on for about 2 to 3 weeks longer. Let them roll, so we rotate them like this. This one hasn't been rotated enough, a little bit flat on the bottom. And we can really get a traditional Loire type valley, like St. Maur level of traditional goat's cheese in there. And I thought, what better way to make sure that we roll out these profiles for you guys than this month. So let me cut some up. I mean, it's stunning, that is. I do love that contrast in colour that's there, you know. So aroma, you've got kind of fields pasture, floral, a little note of like spiciness, like astringent kind of spiciness that's in there. That would be the age that's coming through. Now, the ash on the outside is obviously completely edible, but the ash on the outside of goat's cheese was actually something that we used to do many years ago, because you'd make your goat's cheeses were quite delicate, and on a cobbled road they'd bounce about and they'd get damaged rind on the outside, so they started putting a little bit of ash on the outside to cover the cheese, to kind of hide up all those discrepancies and push the price up a little bit more. But now we use it as a kind of an alkaline to kind of control acidity and pH level in cheese, and also to make it look nice. But let's have a taste. And that is very good. So the texture is surprisingly light. As it hits the palate, it kind of runs off immediately. That goat kind of forwardness that it has, a slight element of hay, floralness that's in there, then a slight hit of a chlorine peppery. Now, it will give you the nod that it's a goat's cheese, but not in a big dramatic kind of fashion like some of the goat's cheeses. It gives you a nice little, I'm a goat's cheese. You know, we're not going down the pure citrus fresh route. We're going to make this a little bit more challenging for you. So the ones that are challenged by goat's cheese, this will be a little bit more challenging to you. It's got like the really nice milky double cream kind of finish. It's kind of heavy set actually in flavour. And then a bit of a sour cream Greek yogurt kind of finish. That's delicious. That is so great. I'm really, really happy with that actually. That was the one that I was kind of worried about a little bit, to be honest, because you know, aging goat's cheeses, you can push into that area that's a little bit more farm-like yard than anyone else would like, to be honest. So we've got that balance right. Well, it would challenge you, and our boards always should challenge you a little bit. And yeah. So the next up we have is a traditional favourite, Cornish Yarg, made down in Cornwall by Liner Dairies. It's not been in the box for a while, and what I needed at this point, you know, what you'll notice now if you're tasting along with me, you've kind of got this warmth that's rolling from the Driftwood. You know, that's continuing in the back of the palate. We need to get rid of that, because the next couple of cheeses, they're going to challenge you, and that's not going to work quite nice with it. So the Cornish Yarg is perfect for that, because it's a territorial crumbly style cheese, which is very kind of high in moisture and should dissipate that really quickly. So we've got the traditional nettles on the outside that are on there. You know, most of you guys have had Cornish Yarg. These have been in the maturing rooms for 4 weeks now. So we've got a less moist cheese. You can kind of see it in the curd there. It's evaporated a little bit more, so we're losing more grammage in terms of moisture. But the nit, we do it with our old roans and most territorial styles that we have that high moisture. Pull out that moisture to give the cheese a little bit more longevity, and that's our thought. Aroma, yogurt, sour cream. Easy going, really laid back. Cool. Let's have a taste. And already it's doing precisely what it was set out to do. You know, the flavour coming through is yogurt, milk, high moisture, and it kind of waves, it kind of washes over the palate, and it also adds a kind of a good degree of complexity to it, and it kind of brings out the sweetness that Yarg has, you know, that sweet milk kind of element that's in there. That is delicious. That is a really good combo that's in there, and really great for you to taste Yarg in a different setting, and shows you, and it actually illustrates why Yarg is such a great cheese. As you know, it stands out on its own, no doubt. That's why it's one of the best cheeses that we make in the UK, and everyone absolutely loves it, and it's idolised around the world. But it's a great third cheese to kind of cleanse that palate as well and give you a great experience. So let's move on to our next cheese, Montgomery cheddar. So I've got a little bit of Montgomery blue in. The guys have probably done that for me because I asked that to keep that behind. Montgomery is famed for having small bits of blue in it. And we've got to the point where 11 years later, after working with Jamie, that we've half given up on it. Now, there is some where it's too much, but now I believe that bluing within Montgomery is a natural characteristic of Montgomery cheddar. So if you get that, don't worry about it too much. It is what it is. You know, that's Jamie's ethos. So we've got an unpasteurized cheddar, one of the best cheddars in the country. The profiles that we've been getting in have just been absolutely phenomenal. I thought they'd work because we've got cream and lightness, and now we just require a huge amount of depth that's in the cheese. So let's cut that off. So really light on aroma, actually. Not too powerful, that typical acidic tang that's there that is atypical cheddars, but dialed back a little bit. The saltiness is like a Parma ham area. And there's a slight nutty sweetness to this, but not too big. And then a little tinge of bitter, but nothing, you know, that's overly detectable. Let's have a taste. Good. Very good. So once again, I talk about the order. I'm excited about the order we had because it's like such a big bounding flavour. You know, the minerality that it has, like it's like first quenching water that you kind of have from that tang. You know, a little bit of almost like fizz. Like, you know, it's got that refreshing edge. You know, most of you have come back from holiday, but you've been on the beach all day, and you have that first like pint of lager that you're dehydrated. It kind of like really quenches and like scratches that itch in such a big way. And Montgomery is just cool the way it hits loads of notes, sweet, salty, savoury, bitterness, acidity, in a really chill way. It hits all of those areas, you know, but it doesn't really strive to like hit one, you know, like massive tang or whatever. It just delicately kind of balances all the way through them. So happy with that. I promised people that I wasn't going to wave my hands as much, so I'm getting a little bit of hate online for looking like an enthusiastic penguin, I believe. Yeah, I was trying to cut down the waving. So, leaning on another traditional cheese, which is one of our favourites here, it's been in the maturing room from day dot, is Cropwell Bishop Stilton. It's amazing Stilton made in Nottinghamshire, unpasteurised, Holstein Friesian milk. And the profiles for the last, I would say, 2.5 years have been phenomenal. And we wanted something reliable in the box. We're being experimental with the Driftwood, arguably the the Baron Bigod is always good. But there's nothing really where I know 100% a lot of people, and I love Cropwell for that because it's just such a stunning cheese. And this profile, I was going through all the blue cheeses that we have in our maturing room. And when I was trying these out, I was like, I think this will work the most, and I'm really, really happy about it. I mean, look at the masterfulness of the bluing. You know, it's so even across the face of the cheese, which is amazing. I love the colour of it as well. I get a lot of feedback about me using ebony ivory blue. But there's a colour in Cropwell Bishop. And when I see it, when I iron into the cheese, so when I use one of these to plunge into the side of the cheese and pull out the core, I'm like, that needs to go in somewhere, in a box or somewhere special, because I know it will be. It's just the colour. It's very distinct to me. So aroma, we got more savoury, biscuity kind of edge that we traditionally get with it. A good amount of cream on top. You know, a little bit of, you know, sort of ground pepper that's in there. And a little bit of like, it's kind of like a dialed back, like cardamom, aromatic kind of vibe that's in there. Let's give it a taste. Bloody hell. That is so great. That's like, I always say it when Cropwell is Bayonne, it's the most stilton you could ever get. You know, I need to have another piece. I love blue cheese, that's where, you know, I kind of focus in on, because it's my thing. So, up front, you get this kind of acidic tang, which isn't overpowering. It's more like a sourness, which dips into cream. There's an underline of like raw, thick, you know, cream, which is incredible. They get that. Pepperings of grass all over the place. Then we've got that biscuity vibe that's coming in, hoppy, you know, ever so slightly, almost like a tonic-y bitter, this one, a little bit spritzy, it's got a little bit of fizz in it. And then we're just into deep, deep savouries. Like roasted cooked meat, reduction, you know, drinking the rest of the gravy that your grandma used to make, which is amazing gravy, bovril, intense, but no perfume. Saltiness, maybe a bit on the upper end at the end, but what a great way to finish the board. So 5 British artisan cheeses for your board in September, which you've created here and put together at Rennet and Rind. I hope you guys all enjoy these cheeses, because I think this is a great box. You know, for September, there's a bit of warmth in there because it's going to get colder, celebrating Goat's Cheese Month. This is a great, great box. So hope you all enjoy it. Reach out to us, you know, go on our Instagram, Rennet and Rind, across all our platforms. We love to hear from you. We love hearing your reviews. Thank you who do that, because that really helps us online. So enjoy your cheeses, and I'll catch you next time.